The Brave Little Shepherd, a story of David and Goliath. Once upon a time, in a peaceful valley surrounded by rolling green hills, there lived a young shepherd boy named David. David loved spending his days watching over his family's sheep. That he had a kind heart, a bright smile, and a sling he always carried to protect his flock from wild animals. David wasn't very big or strong, but he had something even more special. He trusted God with all his heart. Every day he sang songs to God while sitting under the shade of olive trees, and the sheep would gather around, feeling calm and safe. One day David's father sent him on a mission. "David," he said, "take this bread and cheese to your brothers who are soldiers in the king's army. See how they are doing and bring back news." David, excited to see the battlefield, quickly packed the food and set off. When he arrived, he saw something that made him stop in his tracks. Across the valley stood a giant. His name was Goliath, and he was a fearsome warrior from the enemy army. Goliath wore shiny armor and carried a huge spear. Every day he shouted at the soldiers of Israel, daring anyone to fight him. "Who will face me?" Goliath roared, his voice echoed like thunder. The soldiers of Israel trembled with fear. "He's too big," they whispered. "No one can defeat him." But when David heard Goliath's challenge, he wasn't afraid. "Why are you letting this giant scare you?" he asked the soldiers. "God is on our side. I will fight him." The soldiers laughed. "You're just a boy, Goliath has been a warrior for years." David didn't back down. "I may be young, but I have fought lions and bears to protect my sheep. God kept me safe then, and he will keep me safe now." Word of David's bravery reached King Saul. The king called for him. "You're very brave, David," said the king, "but you'll need armor for this battle." David tried on the heavy armor, but it was too big and clunky. "I can't even move in this," he said. Instead, David picked up his sling and chose 5 smooth stones from a nearby stream. "God will help me," he said confidently. David walked into the valley to face Goliath. The giant laughed when he saw him. "What is this?" Goliath sneered. "A boy with a stick? Come here and I'll show you how foolish you are." But David stood tall. "You come at me with a sword and spear," he said, "but I come to you in the name of the Lord, who will give me victory today." David put a stone in his sling, swung it around, and let it fly. The stone zipped through the air and hit Goliath right in the forehead. The giant wobbled and fell to the ground with a loud thud. David had won. The Israelite soldiers cheered and ran after the enemy army, chasing them far away. That day, everyone saw that it's not about how big or strong you are but about trusting God and being brave. From that day on, David was known as the boy who defeated the giant. He reminded everyone that with God's help, no challenge is too big to overcome. The lesson: this story teaches us that courage comes from trusting in God. Even when things seem scary or impossible, God is with us, and he can help us face any giant in our lives. So be brave, kind, and always believe that God has a plan for you.